you will follow, or you will fall. These aren't just the tenets of the playstyle, but also the flavor text of the Lord Commander passive, which is a key part of the build I'm about to explain. What is up guys, Deadset here, and what I wanted to show you today was a build that I've been thinking of for a very long time, but I've been farming for weeks to get the necessary pieces. That being said, this build is very gear dependent, more so than any other build I've tried so far, especially since I'm aiming to play it in Torment 6. With that out of the way, hold on to your seats and let's go through the gear that is required for this build. First and foremost, the helm, shoulders, chest, pants and boots from the Akan set, with a Ring of Royal Grandeur, bringing me to the much desired 6-piece Akan bonus. Please note that you gotta have these specific 5 pieces so that your glove slot remains free. There isn't much to be said about the Akan set that hasn't already been said. In short, if you want an endgame Crusader, you need it. To get the rings out of the way, I already mentioned the Ring of Royal Grandeur requirement. As your second ring, I advise you to wear a Unity on yourself and your follower if Torment 6 is your goal. The damage reduction is simply too good to pass up. With a physical damage Stone of Jordan, I would be doing more damage, but I decided to put off using it until I get a better, more defensive role on my Akan set pieces. On the gloves, I'm using Tasker and Theo, a very rare legendary glove that's best known for witch doctors. However, the unique effect of the gloves affects all sorts of summonable allies for all 6 classes, including the Crusader's Phalanx, a key ability in this build. With the Tasker and Theo, the Phalanx Bowmen turn from supplementary single target DPS to well-honed murder machines that will contribute to at least 40% of your overall DPS. The final mandatory piece for the build is the Baleful Remnant. This is a very unique and fun weapon that suffers from some unfortunate drawbacks. However, I believe that the drawbacks can and will be fixed, making this build even more potent, and even in this version, the positives outweigh the negatives. How does it work? When you kill an enemy in accurate form, which is why the Akan set is so important, a Phalanx swordsman gets summoned in his place. They work just like the skill and have the potential to do great DPS since they also scale with the Tasker and Theo. I should briefly mention the drawbacks of the summons. First, the Phalanx dudes are not very smart, and you'll see them slack off and not fight or follow you from time to time. And second, you have to kill the enemy yourself, not your Phalanx Bowmen and not your allies. Otherwise, the Phalanx swordsmen don't get summoned. This makes the weapon rather lackluster in groups, where I find myself switching to the Mortal Drama for better bombardments. If Blizzard would like to make this weapon truly build-defining, like the Blade of Prophecy, Fate of Fel, or Gyrfalcon's Foot, my suggestion would be to change it so that the Phalanx summons actually use the Phalanx rune that you have selected on your skill bar. This would turn it into a game-defining legendary. But even in its current state, it gets the job done and is very fun to use, since there is no cap that I have seen of the number of swordsmen that gets summoned. The rest of the gear slots have no set requirements and are in a state of progress. My amulet is a physical damage Rondal's Locket which, besides its amazing rolls as far as damage goes, has no special properties to speak of. The Bracer slot is basically free for you to slot whatever you feel like. Despite the amazing Wrath regeneration I get from Akarat's champion, I still feel that Reaper's Wraps supplement the build nicely and allow me to more freely spam Fist of Heavens. I've also tried Strong Arm Bracers here. They're also a fine choice, however I felt that Knockback Rune of Fist of Heavens is anti-synergistic with Bombardment and offers very lackluster procs of your Akarat Rally, which is the most important thing about your spender. The other options for knockups are Sweep Attack and Shield Bash, and they are simply not up to par in High Torment. Nevertheless, if you feel like trying knockups, strong arm bracers are also an option. The shield that I'm using, the Hollowed Bulwark, is there for additional survivability. This is the slot that's most likely going to change at some point, for example for an Akarat's Awakening. Until I get a good roll of that shield, I will stick with the Bulwark. Let's briefly go over the build. The majority of the damage will come from Phalanx with Bowman and Bombardment with Impactful. They will be off of cooldown very quickly, of course due to Akarat's Champion with Rally and the Lord Commander passive working together. I cannot stress enough how good of a skill Provoke with Charged Up is. It's a 3-in-1 skill that restores Wrath, boosts your damage output, and clumps up your enemies for better bombardment shots. Iron Skin with Steel Skin is an amazing survivability skill for higher torments, with almost 100% uptime due to your reduced cooldowns and some additional tanking utility with the Bulwark Shield. This skill will keep you alive in some very tight spots. Finally, for a Wrath spender, I've picked Fist of Heavens with Divine Well for the unrivaled speed at which it procs your rally and recharges your cooldowns. I have yet to see a spender that does it better than Divine Well. Of course, it's a holy skill and doesn't synergize with our physical bonuses, but the utility of the skill more than makes up for it. The passives: Heavenly Strength, for obvious reasons. Wrathful, the Crusader's most reliable healing passive, synergizes well with Fist of Heavens because it's a rather big spender. Lord Commander, no-brainer for this build, a major cooldown reduction and damage boost for your main damage skills. And finally, I consider this an interchangeable slot and I've picked it for the damage boost. This is how I spent my Paragon points: 10% in movement speed and the rest in strength in the core, cooldown reduction, crit damage and starting out on crit chance in the offense, resist all, life percentage and starting out on armor in defense, and area damage and life on hit in utility. This is it for the build. I hope that I've convinced you even a little bit that Holy isn't the only option for an endgame Crusader. I will be posting regular updates on this build and many others this week, so if you enjoyed what you saw, I would appreciate your subscription to my channel, and I'll see you here and live at twitch.tv/thedeadset. If you'd like to keep in touch, check out my Twitter and Facebook in the video description below, but this is it for now. I will leave you with a couple more minutes of Torment 6 action, and I'll see you guys next time.
Not yet. Not ready yet. Make your peace quickly. Patience. Heal me. Evasion. See